verbs in Spanish? What are they really? Okay. In every language, there are verbs. Okay. In English, French, Portuguese, there are verbs. Okay. Now, what is a verb? A verb is a word that can describe something or a person, that can talk about an action, a process, a state of being. Okay? That's a verb. It's just a word. Okay? Now, in Spanish, verbs exist also. Okay? The difference is the Spanish language encodes a lot of other meanings into a verb. Therefore, when you use a verb, you're not just describing what happens in time, you're also projecting your own perspective on what happened. Okay? You can use a verb that describes something, and at the same time, you can insinuate that you don't believe what the verb says is real. Or you can transmit the idea that what the verb says is something imagined. Okay? You can assert what the verb says is true or not true, or not real yet, or has not happened yet, or may or may not happen, or it's something imagined, it's something desired, it's something requested by somebody else. So there are other ideas that are encoded in a verb in Spanish. Okay? Now in English, we use other words next to the verb to attach other meanings to the verb. Okay, we can use words like maybe, it's possible, it's very likely, and that's it. But in Spanish, a lot of things are encoded in a verb, and that has not been explained to English speakers very well. And it's been a problem for centuries. We have struggled with the verbs in Spanish, you know. I'm not talking about just verb conjugation. I'm talking about how to use a verb properly in Spanish without losing the meaning of the sentence, okay? Without being misunderstood. All right, that has been a problem. Now, in Spanish, there are three families of verbs. You have the AR family. Okay, you have the ER family, and you have the IR family. Okay, so there are three types of verbs. Verbs don't exist randomly in Spanish. Every single verb belongs to a family. Okay, in the AR family, you have verbs like cocinar. Cocinar. You have estudiar. Okay, and we can put one on top, caminar. Okay, so all these verbs belong to the AR family. Okay, then we have verbs in the ER family. Okay, like comer, beber, okay, aprender, etc., etc. The IR family, we have verbs like vivir, okay, escribir, etc., etc. Okay, now Verbs will behave a certain way depending on the family it belongs to. Okay? Now, let's look at a verb like bailar. It means to dance. Okay? Bailar means to dance. Okay? In English, when you see the preposition to in front of the verb, it means that this is the infinitive form of the verb. Okay? It means that this verb is not a conjugated verb. It's an unconjugated, so it's not conjugated. Don't do that to me. Unconjugated verb. Okay? When you see the verb in the infinitive form, in its infinitive form. In Spanish, you don't need a preposition in front of the verb to know that it's the infinitive form that we're dealing with. You look at the ending. If it ends in AR, then that's the infinitive form of the verb. When you look at comer, the ending is ER, that's the infinitive form of the verb. Vivir, the ending is IR, that's the infinitive form of the verb. You don't need to put a preposition in front of it. In the next video, we'll be talking about verb moods. Okay? That's what we're going to be talking about in the next video. Verb moods is your own perspective on the verb. Okay? A verb describes something, a process, or talks about a state of being. That's what the verb describes. In a time, it could be in the present or in the past. But you can project your own perspective on what the verb is saying. You can assert whether what the verb is saying is real or not real, or something that is imagined, or something that has not happened yet. That's verb moods in Spanish. So that's what we're going to be talking about next time. But for now, what I want you to remember is verbs are very important in Spanish. You will not be able to achieve fluency if you don't master the verbs. And also, in Spanish, there are 3 families of verbs. Those that end in AR, such as bailar, caminar, cocinar. Okay? Those that end in ER, such as beber. Okay? Beber, comer, defender, and then the third family is those that end in IR. You have bibir. The V is pronounced like B, bibir. You have escribir. And descubrir. Okay, so these are examples of verbs that belong to the IR family. But basically, there are 3 families of verbs in Spanish. Verbs don't exist randomly in Spanish. Every verb belongs to a family. Okay? When you use a verb in Spanish, either to describe something, a process, or talk about a state of being. You're not just describing an event or talking about an event in time, something that happens in the present or in the past. With Spanish, you can project your own perspective onto what happens, okay? And all of that is encoded in the verb. In English, we achieve that through other means by using other words next to the verb, like maybe, could be, might be. But in Spanish, all of these things are encoded in the verb. That's why if you don't master the verbs in Spanish, it's very, very difficult to achieve fluency. There's something else. When you use a verb incorrectly in Spanish, two things might happen. The first one is you slightly change the meaning of the sentence. Second, you collapse the whole meaning of the sentence. That's when a native Spanish speaker will tell you, ¿Cómo así? How come? I don't understand. Okay? And you're going to be surprised because all the words in the sentence are simple words and they are clear and you pronounce them very well, but you use the verb incorrectly. Therefore, even though all the words are clear and simple, but they don't convey any meaning. I was shocked to discover that. Okay? So, when you use a verb incorrectly, you can slightly change the meaning of a sentence or change the meaning of a sentence, or you can collapse the whole meaning by accident because you use the verb incorrectly. So, therefore, verbs are very important in Spanish. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about verb moods. Okay? The verb mood is when it's your perspective on the verb. Okay? So that's all I had for you for today. This is an introduction on the verbs in Spanish. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which is going to be about verb moods. Okay? Until then, take care. Hasta luego. Bye.